fiscal anchor and the monetary anchor have been, put in place firmly. The fiscal anchor, 3.5% of GDP as announced. And the monetary anchor, you can see the MPC agreement with the Reserve Bank is going to be, the legislative framework to put that in place is going to be initiated in this budget. I think on the tax side, I think last year we committed to a corporate tax cut. I think, some very significant variant of that is going to be implemented. New firms, 25%, medium and small enterprises, 30 to 29%. I think that's very good. Even the nature of some of the taxes are very desirable, like the coal cess, the taxes on cars, so environmentally very friendly.
How soon do you expect your friend Raghuram Rajan to cut rates? And also, do you think there's enough in this budget to kickstart the investment cycle, to create more jobs in the economy?
Yeah, see, I think on the interest rate cut, we said in the economic survey that there's going to be, there's room for monetary easing. And I think this budget, both, by solidifying the fiscal anchor and the monetary anchor, I think reinforces that what we said in the economic survey. So I think, in terms of timing, that we don't have any control over, but that's for the RBI to decide as they should.
You were one of the advocates of deviating from the fiscal roadmap. The finance minister has deferred. He's chosen to stick to the targets. Are you disappointed?
No, not at all. Because remember that what we'd said in the survey was you both want your macro stability without, putting too much of a drag on the economy via aggressive fiscal consolidation. And the key thing is that, we've maintained the fiscal anchor, we've maintained the monetary anchor, but we've done it without raising taxes unduly, so that aggregate demand is not going to decline, not at all even. So the balancing of the stability with the growth has been done, I think, in a very, very importantly balanced manner.
So those are some of the big voices that we've been getting here on ET Now on the Times network. We have another one for you. Let's hear out then an exclusive interaction on a panel in which the Department of Economic Affairs Secretary Shaktikanta Das was present after Finance Minister Arun Jaitley presented Budget 2016. Here is a slice of that conversation.
Last year, the Finance Minister had, very clearly said that I am taking a pause this year, and instead of a 2-year time frame to reach the fiscal deficit target of 3%, I am taking a 3-year time horizon. He made a commitment just about a year ago. The Finance Minister should carry credibility. The Finance Minister cannot be shifting the goalpost from this year to the next year. And with regard to the expenditure requirements of the critical sectors of the economy, all critical sectors have been provided with adequate funds. Look at infrastructure relating to transport, railways and the highways put together, it is 2,18,000 crores. There is a question of absorptive capacity of this governmental system to spend money. Merely by increasing the allocation, you don't solve the problem. The money has to be spent and it has to be well spent. The quality of expenditure is also equally or perhaps more important. So wherever money was required, whether it is the rural sector or the infrastructure sector or the road sector or the agriculture sector, irrigation, wherever money was required today, wherever the economy is facing a problem of stress, resources have been provided there, and while doing so, the Finance Minister has also maintained the fiscal deficit target for the next year, which he had spelled out earlier at 3.5%.
You spoke about credibility, but the original FRBM Act wanted that 3% by 2007-8. We are way behind that. And it really hasn't done us that much harm if you look at in terms of rating agencies. In fact, the rating agency changed the outlook from negative to stable at a time when our fiscal deficit actually doubled, 6.4 in 2009-10. So is credibility that important vis-a-vis? Should we take a more pragmatic view is my question. Fiscal prudence is advisable, yes, but there's a difference between profligacy and pragmatism. So did the situation today call for pragmatism rather than a very strict interpretation? And we said about all expenditure needs being met. Bank capitalization is for one example that comes to my mind. Given the numbers that are floating around of the NPAs, 25,000 is neither here nor there.
You see, with regard to the expenditure requirements, all the critical sector, their requirements have been met. So far as bank capitalization is concerned, it's a work in progress. You will see a lot more action. I will not be in a position to spell out what all steps will come in the next few weeks. What all steps will be seen, I am not in a position to mention that, but there will be many more steps. At this point of time, as spelt out in the Indradhanush document, 25,000 crore was spelt out in that document, and 25,000 is being provided. In the current year, against the original budget allocation, we have substantially stepped up the allocations in the revised estimates. So therefore, while the banks are taking steps to effect better recoveries and to realize, money which is stuck in various projects, government has fulfilled its commitment of providing 25,000 crores, and if there is an additional requirement, even that money will be provided. That assurance, that commitment the finance minister has made in the budget. Now, coming back to your previous point about, that 3.5%, rating has not gone down and all that. You must assess the impact of FRBM in a time horizon of 10 years. It has brought in lot of fiscal prudence, lot of fiscal discipline into the general government deficit, which includes not only the central government but also the state governments. There is a great amount of awareness today in the managers of government finances, both at the central and at the state levels. FRBM, the importance of FRBM, the importance of maintaining debt sustainability. You see, why is FRBM, the target of fiscal deficit, important? It is important because there is something called debt sustainability. You must borrow only that much which you can repay. So the debt sustainability is something which again the state governments are also very much, they are giving a lot of priority to that.
Away from all the big political voices that we've been getting on the channel, onto the big voices from that we've been getting over here. Keep in mind, India Inc. has given a thumbs up as a whole for Finance Minister Arun Jaitley's budget 2016, thanks to him sticking to the path of fiscal prudence. Now, in a first during budget day, Telecom Scion Sunil Bharati Mittal spoke to our network with his take on budget 2016. Here's a slice of that exclusive conversation.
The budget is largely on expected lines, I would say. The government's thrust towards kick-starting the economy is very evident. The 9 pillars as defined by the finance minister are clearly in the areas where one expected action, which is rural, agriculture, health, education, financial reforms, generally tax reforms, etc., are all the ones that I think the country was clearly looking forward to.
Does this budget give you a sense that this government is sure enough about improving India's ease of doing business ratings? If you were to look at it from that perspective, would you be satisfied?
I would say yes. I mean, this is one area where the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister and the government have been talking about it, and I think through this budget they have delivered some clear messages that India's business environment will keep on getting better under this government. In particular, I would say, I mean, I've been globe-trotting for the last few weeks. The retrospective tax keeps on coming back again and again. And I think a very clear, bold window has been granted to Vodafone, Cairn, Nokia, and many others who can take this window now to settle and move on and shut this case once for all. So largely, I think it's towards the area of ease of doing business. The Finance Minister also mentioned certain amendments are being brought onto the Companies Act to ensure that the ease of doing business becomes a reality in this country.
Mr. Mittal, we've had this heated debate on the fiscal deficit and the fact that the government should have probably relaxed the target and given growth a chance. Are you disappointed that the government hasn't done that, or are you happy that they're sticking to the 3.5% red line? Would you have rather had the government relax the target, give a bigger investment push?
Well, as an entrepreneur, I've always been more towards spending by the government, especially when things are going well in the country. The government should spend as much as it can in terms of kick-starting the economy. But I guess you hear the voice, or rather the same voices of economists over the entrepreneurs, and you have to stick to a fiscal responsibility rather than spending your way through growth. So I think a balance has been achieved. 3.5% should satisfy all the voices that were trying to caution the Finance Minister of not breaching the fiscal responsibility. And on the side of investment, I think the finance minister has been able to get some money on the table for a lot of new projects. India needs so much money towards the social areas, and I think one of the key highlights of this budget is, ensuring that the agriculture stress is taken care of, ensuring that rural missions, MG, Narega, many other programs get the money that they want. In fact, Narega has got the highest outlay this year. All of this required money for the finance minister, and he couldn't have put more money in the hands of individual taxpayers. So I would say, by and large, the money that will reach the rural areas through various schemes like Swachh Bharat, all this is going to be spent out, and this will finally reach the society in various forms and factors, and to my mind will therefore generate more demand.
Times Network Exchange exclusive.
On this network exchange, with exclusive for the first time, India's #1 business and news channels come together for this joint broadcast. Mr. Subramaniam, just want to let you know this interview of yours is being simulcast to all the viewers of ET Now and Times Now in India and across 82 countries as we speak.
Chief Economic Advisor on Budget 2016.
We've maintained the fiscal anchor, we've maintained the monetary anchor, but we've done it without raising taxes.
Get the Times Now, ET Now advantage.
Is there enough in the budget to kickstart the investment cycle?
The budget is largely on expected lines, I would say. The government's thrust towards kick-starting the economy is very evident.
Times Network Exchange, a first.